This video is about uuMocker, the tool which allows to develop UU apps with integration to other UU apps without necessity to run them. So in fact, it mocks the responses of any commands of any UU apps. To start with that, first we have to install the tool. So just run this command in your command line, and you will have uuMocker installed. I have already installed it, so I'll just switch this off. So how does it work? It's quite easy. First of all, let's imagine that we have some application which requires for standard operations and another application. So I have there application X, sub-application certificates, which requires for its correct working, and this sub-application which is called configuration, and also a sync job. So let's start with the configuration. First of all, I will start this application. So it will just take a second. And after that will be started, we will execute some commands without running Mocker. So application is running. Now let's switch to the XML workspace of this application. Certificates, and I will know that commands like certificates list and other requires also some other as you can see, I still have application privilege mode. Never mind, let's fix this. Start application. After that, we need the workspace. I'll take a look on the profiles, and I need to have this one, I believe. Am I right? Yeah. I believe I have to add this one as a profile. Create permission. Okay, very well. So now I should be able to execute this command. You can see that we have there some error. In fact, we see something like configuration error plus some now pointer. Really mainly to be caused by a thing that we didn't set up the configuration. Okay, let's set up the initial configuration. So first of all, as you can see, I already are setting up the configuration of the application, the URLs to other application, not this location, but to something that there's a localhost and port 6854. This is the default port of the uuMocker. So that's the reason why I set it up in this way. Okay, so let's just set this. Let's start to run this. Okay, and currently now we have an error that cannot connect to this application. So it's not running, of course. So let's start uuMocker. So first of all, we need some directory, because the uuMocker works in a way that it takes the directory structure, and with the file structure is the instruction which request should be mocked and how. So first of all, let's create some directory with mock data. Data, and we can assume that we will have more than one set of mock data, so let's get the default set of mock data. Okay, so how did it work? So first of all, I will go to this directory, select certificates, mock data, default. If you run uuMocker, would help. You will see that you can either run it just without any parameters. It means that the mocks are taken from the current there, or you can specify the directory from which the mocks should be read. I will just use the current directory. I have no mocks there, so the result will be almost the same. I will just execute it and I will get this error from uuMocker that no mock is specified. So first of all, I will create for the application, directory for the application. The application which I'm working with is USay next configuration G01. And the command which is executed, we can see here is account holder list. Okay, so look directory for this account holder, and the command is list. So list JSON to get some values for the mock. So I can execute this command somewhere else. I will just take, for example, systest. I will just switch to the application configuration to systest, and I will just execute a list of account holders for Go scheme. Such parameters. And I can just take this and just paste it here. That's all. The uuMocker doesn't have to be restarted. It just every time it just the changes. So the changes. So there is you can just develop the mocks just during the run. No problem with that. I will now run the command on the certificates application. This now I should have no. As you can see, there is no error. We also have no results. The reason why we have no results because there is no data. So let's generate some data. We have there in this application there is some command to generate data. I'll just run this. Sorry, not authorized to run the use case. So let's set some right for me. Create permission and support these. Okay, this should be enough. So this command is just generating the data, which we will use in the for other commands in the system. Okay, so data are generated. So let's run this command again, certificate list. And now we have some data. As you can see, there is a lot of data. So there's some additional commands. We just marked one command of an application, but we need something more. For example, there is a command to move the certificates from account to account. So I will just take this ID of certificate bundle, and I will just say to move it. This operation requires a async job, and we will get errors as you will see. Okay, we can see that there is an error because there is a no mock for async job and use case name. So let's create it. So first of all, create a directory for async job. After that, create a mock for create job. Okay, I already know what the data DTO out of this operation looks like, and I know what my application requires. So I will just do it in the most simple way. So there has to be at least job and ID in it. So let's put there some ID. It should be string. Okay, very well. So now let's execute the operation again. I'll just pick some other certificates. Some other certificates. So for example, this one, move. Okay, some problem. Let's take some other. Move. Let's execute it. And we will see that now the operation will be successful because the mocker has answered. As it was asking job. There will be no execution, of course. The mocker still doesn't support it, but it will be in future versions. But it has mock async job and the response was correct. We can also see in the logs of the certificates application that the job is being planned and what its ID. So it is it is here in run. So we can see that a new job has been created with ID. This is our ID. Okay. We can also log some another commands, like for example cancel job. It's also used in this application. So there is transaction schedules, and what it does is that when I create it, it just creates new job. So when I run this, it also call command create job. You can see that also it receives the job ID the same as the previous one. You can also set it up that there will be some conditional mocks, but it will be some advanced topic. So I'll talk about this in another video. And if I will try to cancel this schedule, so let's take a look on that. It's change state. So what it should happen now is that it will cancel the job, but there is no mock for that. So let's create it. I also know that my application doesn't require any attributes from the DO of cancel job, so I can leave it completely empty. So let's try it again. First of all, I have to resume it because it's already in pause state. Active. Okay. Give me a second. Okay, there's some problems, so let's create new schedule for that, for this test. That's strange. I probably changed the wrong DTO out. As you can see, I changed it in create job, so that's the reason why I got this null pointer. Okay. So I said my application requires to have their job ID in create job, and when it doesn't have this job ID, so that's the reason why I received the null pointer here somewhere in the create job. So okay. So let's resume the state again. So correct, and now we will suspend it again. Sorry, paused. Okay, it's correct. So we can also see that here in the console you'll see that this command has been called. Give me a second. In terminal we can see the command list. Okay, where is it? My cancel job. Here it is. You can see it. Cancel job. The correct warehouse book has been found. So that's how you will mock some standard commands. But for example, what if you require to download some data, that your mock has to return some binary. So the mocker has also the possibility of this, but for this I will use another application. its application transactions, and this application has command import, and the command import, give me a second. And the command import requires to have URL where it can download binary data. So, and how we will mock this situation. So let's go to the transactions. I will create some directory for mock data here. Directory mock data directory default. So I will take a look at this URL. So it should be application certificates, no problem with that. So directory certificates, and its command transaction data get. Transaction data command is get. However, I just can put there JSON. It can be just in the way that I will just create a get.json and put the result in it. It doesn't make sense because it requires binary data. So if I need to return binary data, I need to put here conf, this configuration of the response, and I will don't put here the result, but I have to configure. I have there. I already prepared this file. So first of all, I have there the mock result. So this is the file which I need to return. So I will put it in the subdirectory data here. Okay, and I have there also this content. So let's take a look what it does. So it just say that the response, the type of response will be download, and the content disposition will be inline. And that the result should be read from the directory data import transaction JSON. We can test this out. So if I will go here in this directory mock data default, I can run uuMocker here, and when I will execute this command, I should receive this file. So give me a second. You can see that I received the file. There is download, then there is download option for me. So now I can also use this file in this command transaction import. Run this. So let's run this. And we can see that it's working correctly. We got some response, and if you will take a look in the mocker results, so there should be that mock has been found for blah 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 blah. So that's the way how you can mock any commands of any application, and how you can develop any application which requires some integration without necessity to run them. There will be some follow-up videos which will describe in detail some other functions which uuMocker has, and also some information how the file should look like and what are all the possibilities. But at the beginning, this is all. Thank you for your attention.